Hello students, hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to discuss the concept of the demand and law of demand. So without wasting any time, let's begin with the concept of the demand. So what is the demand? Demand refers to the amount of some good or service that consumers are willing to that the consumers are willing and able to purchase at various prices during a given period of time. Dear students, kindly note down the underlying words. One is the willingness and then ability. So, for the existence of the demand, there must be a willingness and the ability. There must be willingness as well as the ability to purchase. Then the demand is also concerned with a given period of time. So these three things, willingness, ability, and a period of the time, are very important for understanding the concept of the demand. A desire without ability to pay is simply a wish or want. Similarly, if the consumer has merely the ability to buy without the willingness to buy, that concept is known as the potential demand but not the actual demand. It's only when the willingness to buy is backed by the ability to buy, then we can say that there is an effective demand. What a buyer pays for a unit of the specific good or service is called as the price. The total number of the units purchased at that price is called as the quantity demanded. We will dig deeper into the concept of the demand as we will progress, but for the time being, I'm going to stop the concept of demand here and I will shift my focus to the law of demand. So what is the law of demand? Law of demand, it is ceteris paribus the negative relationship between the price and quantity demanded of a commodity is known as the law of demand. In other words, other things remaining the same, when price of a commodity falls, its demand rises, and when its price rises, its quantity demanded falls. In the law of demand, we study the behavior of, of a consumer in context with the price, or under the law of demand we find out how the consumer is going to behave when there is certain change in the price while keeping the uh, other determinants of the demand as constant. Now it's very important to note down that law of demand is valid only when, or the predictions which are drawn by using the law of demand are valid only when the assumption of the ceteris paribus is not violated. What is the ceteris paribus assumption? Ceteris paribus assumption, or in simple words, other things remaining the same. Same means that the other factors which also influence the demand are kept constant. We note that demand is a function of the large number of the factors. In other words, demand depends upon large number of the factors. And for example, the demand for a product depends upon the price of the price of its own price. The demand for a product depends upon its own price. Then it also depends upon the price of the related goods, and a related good can be a substitute or it can be a complement. Further, the price, the demand also depends upon the income of the consumer, taste and preferences of the consumer, geographical location of the consumers. all these factors are going to influence the demand, and in such a scenario it will be impossible to find out which factor has influenced to what extent the quantity demanded. So in order to isolate the influence of a single variable on the quantity demanded, we keep the we keep the other factors constant. We keep the influence of the other factors on the quantity demanded as constant. Mathematically, the demand function can be written as the qxd equals the f of px, py bar, y bar, and t bar. This demand function shows that quantity demanded of a good X is the function of the various factors, and these factors and the notation used in the demand functions are Qx is the quantity demanded of the good X, Px is the price of the good X, Py is the price of the related good Y is the income of the consumer, T is the taste and preferences of the consumer. The next step for the explanation of the law of demand is the demand schedule and the demand curve. What is the demand schedule? The tabular representation of the law of demand is known as the as the demand schedule. It shows the negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. From the table 1, in the table 1, in one side in one side of the table, I have plotted the price of the commodity X, and another side of the table, I have plotted the quantity demanded of the X. So when the price is 50, quantity demanded is 1. When the price is 40, quantity demanded is 2. When the price is 30, quantity demanded is 3. Similarly, as price is falling, the quantity demanded increases from 4 to 5. So from the table, as the price goes down, the quantity demanded moves up. And if you read the table from the below, which means that as the price goes up, the quantity demanded falls. So the various combinations which are shown in the table are actually the demand schedule. So when the next thing is, what is the demand curve? When the law of demand is represented through a graph, that graphical representation is known as the demand curve. This demand curve also shows the relationship between various level of the price and the corresponding quantity demanded. Like the demand, like the demand schedule, it also shows the negative relationship between P and Q, which is price and quantity demanded. Now from the figure 1, it can be seen that a line slopes downward from the left to right, indicating that as the P falls, Q rises and vice versa. This, this figure has been drawn by using the demand schedule, by using the various values from the demand schedule. Here in the figure, along the x-axis, I have plotted the quantity demanded of the x, and along the y-axis, I have plotted the price of the x. So when the price is 50, quantity demanded is 1. As price goes down to 40, the quantity demanded increases to 2. And as the price falls to 30, the quantity demanded further increases to 3. So the various combinations given by the price and quantity demanded can be connected with a line, and that line is known as the demand curve. This line slopes downward from the left to right, indicating that as P falls, the Q rises and vice versa. Now, mathematically, a linear demand curve can be represented as QD equals A minus BP, where QD is the quantity demanded of the X of any product. A is intercept. Remember, A is intercept, and this represents all other factors which affect the quantity demanded of the product other than the price. B is the slope of the demand curve, and P is the price. We have also an inverse demand function, and that can be represented by an equation P equals the A minus B, bracket begins, Q, bracket closes. So A is the intercept, which A is the intercept, and B is the slope of the demand curve. Now the question begins, why the demand curve slopes downward? And with this question, today I'm going to end my topic. All the students are requested to study, kindly try to find out the answers to this question, which is the why does the demand curve slopes down? Why does the demand curve has a negative slope? And we will also discuss this topic in our next lecture. Till then, bye, and thanks for being with me.